This includes Amanda Demet. They were and are still recorded. Not all of those videos have her name in them, so if you guys go back through and find some of the ones to help her out, to play victim, well, you don't get to do that with me. You're a part of it. You admitted to being a part of it. And then at the end, you want to play like you had nothing to do with any of it and didn't know nothing and blah, 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 blah. Well, this is all relatively easy to figure out. This isn't complicated. People don't want to admit that they didn't come forward and should have. And of course, everybody becomes a pocket lawyer, don't they? Yep. When they screw up, it's your fault. And all of a sudden, even though they've been telling you for forever that you need a lawyer and they're not a lawyer, all of a sudden they're a lawyer. Isn't that cute? Of course it is. Now we got a lot of people who, well, they didn't give two shits when my loved ones died, did they? And for some of them, that actually includes them. It didn't register to Christine Bouhit. Of course, she's dead now. It didn't register to Rayanne Ingersoll. Of course, she's also dead now. It did not register to Natalie Bollinger, who is also dead now. It just doesn't occur to you. When you don't care about somebody, you don't listen to them. You say you love them, you say you care about them, but you don't listen to a goddamn word they're saying. Now, a lot of these folks, you get to take a look at how they threw things in my face that they weren't even there for, as their excuse for doing the fucked up shit that they did. That doesn't stop me from coming forward. Doesn't stop me from telling the truth. Somebody has to. If I gotta do crazy things to bring attention to this shit, you goddamn right I will, and I do. Wholeheartedly I do. Wholeheartedly I have been. Whatever it takes for the preservation of human life. Killing somebody is not preservation of human life. This day I still have evidence, overwhelming evidence, of the threats, harassment, and intimidation by the Bollingers and their cronies. The tough part is getting what the police have. Again, you're supposed to, you need a lawyer for that. No, you can't get a lawyer when you're called mentally ill. Somebody has to look at the fucking evidence and fucking verify it to the goddamn lawyer, and they have to make that call with you. Now, for some odd reason, there was always some excuse why Megan Missigatis couldn't do this. Well, those are excuses that need to come forward in court. I didn't make those excuses for her. If she told me there was a reason why she couldn't, I spoke up. If you're going to use your kids as Operation Hide Behind them, well, it didn't work out so good in South Park, did it? Good movie, y'all. When you do something screwed up, hiding behind your kids is the most fucked up thing you can do. That shows that you have absolutely no fucking conscience whatsoever. Now, how many of these parents of autistic children want to use their autistic children as an excuse for cruelty towards the autistic community? Quite a few. Amanda doesn't do that. Not to my knowledge anyway. But to a great extent, she treats me like I'm retarded. Now, I told the truth, and the cops did not. The conversations between myself and these people show I told the truth from the beginning, and of course, the cops did not. Also, I outlined all of the dynamics before Natalie was ever killed of people with their kids, their kids, their kids. Now, of course, you don't want to look at the evidence of that. It doesn't suit your narrative, doesn't fit your narrative. Right now, don't get me wrong, I do feel bad for Amanda having Megan Misgatus dump that shit on her. But then again, that wasn't my choice, and again, wasn't my fault. This is something that I have to say a lot. Not my choice, not my fault. Because everybody wants to say, oh, it's not my fault. Actually, it is. It is your fault. It is your fault that you have to be afraid. It is your fault that I am being abused. The reason for this is because you knew something was up and you said nothing. You did everything that you could to treat me like I'm an autistic fucking retard. And then, of course, I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Nope, if I call you an idiot for treating me like an idiot, or of course, if you do something fucked up and you want to use something else that happened with somebody else that you weren't even there for and didn't care about, see, smart of them, isn't it? They absolutely refuse to listen or look at the situation, and then they don't know nothing about it, and then they get to just pretend. Yeah, let's just pretend, because we're mad at Sean. Well, you go ahead and be as angry as you want with me. You see how that worked out for Natalie, don't you? You see how that worked out for Rihanna, don't you? Don't be so stupid. Those people are dead, apparently, because of karma. I keep hearing about this. Oh, it's karma, it's karma. Oh, the universe is going to get them. The universe is going to get them. Well, here's where me and the universe are having a major issue. I don't want any of these people dead. Here's where I have a major issue with karma. I don't want anybody dead. But then you get to see, especially with the women in this situation, how it is a game of manipulation. It's got nothing to do with right or wrong. Not to them anyway. The only one who gives a shit about right and wrong is me. Any excuse to wipe your own bullshit on someone else, right? But yours is bullshit. When my loved ones die, I'm not allowed to have any emotions about it. Now, thank goodness, I didn't really know Amanda's mom. That's a good thing. No emotional attachment. So, of course, when the woman died, the only grief I felt was for Amanda, and I still feel it every day. But at the same time, does she afford me that same respect? Is that even respect at that point? Just admitting that another person, another human being, could possibly have the same emotions as you. But I'm autistic, so I must be retarded, right? And retarded people don't have real emotions, right? That's what it is, isn't it? You don't think I have real emotions. You think I'm a psychopath, and all autistic people must be psychopaths. Isn't that it? It don't fucking matter. It doesn't. Let's talk about Derek Parrish, though. This is a different type of death. I knew his mother quite well. She took care of a lot of us out there on the streets. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for her, I'd have never met Maddie Boa, Natalie Bollinger, or Alicia Bollinger. It just wouldn't have happened. So, Derek Parrish, when his mom died, this is well over a year after Natalie was killed. Well over a year of going through hell and people giving me the same excuses. You know the ones. Oh, well, they're too busy. They're too busy. They're too busy. Oh, they do care about you. They care about you enough to tell you about all of their personal problems. And you need their help, so you got to listen to all their bullshit. They're not going to fucking help you. You already know this. They're talking about themselves. They're busy giving advice. What's their advice based on? Ignorance. So maybe instead of giving advice based on their own ignorance, they might, I don't know, find out from the person who was there. Now, all these folks that I went to for help before Natalie Bollinger died, they did the same thing people did afterwards. Tell me what to do, what to think, and what to feel, and assume that I have the same resources they do. Like I have the same chances and opportunities they do. No, I don't. Amanda Demet can go to free college for the rest of her life. I mean that. But then again, what about somebody out on the streets? What are they going to do? And you're going to tell me about this college guy who got into college and then couldn't afford his dorm room and had to bike to school every day. That's great. I walked to school every day. Lodgepole High School. I lived in Chapel. If you look, well, 890 First Street, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. That was my mom's old address. And you look on MapQuest from there to Lodgepole High School, Lodgepole, Nebraska. Depending on what day you look at it, it might say 9.8 or 9.9 miles. So it's almost 10 miles to school every day. Now, Derek Parrish, when his mother died, he's allowed to have those emotions. All of you are. You don't tell yourselves the same things you tell me. Oh, you just need to let it go. Oh, you just need to move past it. Oh, you just need to move on. Oh, you know what? Derek's mom is dead for a reason. Of course, this is a lady who used to punch herself in the face repeatedly if she did something that she thought was fucked up. She'd punch herself in the face and say, stupid, 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 which, of course, you know how I feel about violence. A lot of these folks, they don't have an understanding of the English language well enough to even comprehend what's coming out of their own mouths, let alone what's coming out of somebody else's. Especially in typing with your shitty grammar and your shitty spelling. And of course, there's word prediction. You know, word prediction can change one word in the sentence and somebody will block you. They don't want to be your friend anymore because they're offended. Their gina's hurting now. Poor dearie. Must be tough. So you guys get to hear me saying mean things back to the meanies, don't you? You certainly do. When it comes to a lot of the women whose backsides I rip, and a lot of the men whose backsides I rip, if I'm specifically picking out your group, what are you and your group doing to pull my attention? A lot of people wanted to use deaths as excuses. Of course, when I said the same things to them that they said to me, oh, they don't like it. My God, they don't like it. You'd think that treating them with equality was a horrible thing. I'm supposed to be the servant, huh? Well, actually, I live a life of service. I was built for service. That's what I do. But I don't do it just for you. I do it for me. I do it for my loved ones, and I do it for complete and total fucking strangers. However, when it comes to playing victim, I don't fuck around. Any of these people who wants to play victim, you fucked up. See, first, you didn't come forward when you should have. You knew that I was trying to get help. You knew I was being abused but you just couldn't stop talking about yourself and giving advice. Then, of course, I had to do desperate things. You didn't give a shit. You weren't even going to hear anything I had to say. There's stuff that I've said to these people over and over for years, and it doesn't sink into their fucking heads. Like, no matter how many times I explain that I am disabled, it's not a choice, it's not a decision. But, of course, people's suggestions always come down to resources and abilities that I don't have. And, of course, when I have some resources, I try to expend those resources towards getting the abilities that I need. But that's impossible when everybody just assumes you're retarded and that arguing with you is the best way to go about it. No, shut the fuck up, you dumb cunt. You got fucking people killed, you stupid piece of shit. You didn't want to come forward, you didn't want to come forward, you didn't want to come forward. You knew it was the right thing to do, but you were being selfish. All you cared about is what other people think. And rightly so. There's all these folks who say, oh, Sean, you shouldn't care what other people think. You know what? I was assaulted repeatedly over what other people think. Why did they think that? Because of slander. Slander I was never allowed to defend myself against. My so-called friends helped my predators to get away with it because it's their goddamn drug contacts. Well, that's not my fault. Now, what should I do in this situation? Well, you guys already know what I should be doing. I should be killing these people. This is what Sarah Bacon thought, isn't it? Is she the only one who thinks that I should be killing all these child molesters and the people who protect them? Is Sarah Bacon the only one who voiced that opinion? Is she the only one who said such a thing? No, not even close. Not even close. Hell, even Amanda said that she was glad her brother was in prison. That's a good thing. But she wanted to use her dead mother as an excuse to look away from the living. And this is a situation that, just like with Natalie Bollinger, you guys show yourselves to be supremely fucking stupid. I'm not going to pretend that Hitler was a nice fucking guy just because he's dead, dumbass. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not going to pretend that there were no Jews in the oven at Dachau, because why? Because I can't properly speak with no fucking teeth in my head. But other than that, just because your uncle was a Nazi at a concentration camp and you love your uncle because he's nice to you, he buys you things, well, that magically means that no Jews were harmed? Is that what you're trying to insinuate? Don't be so fucking stupid. And when you guys talk about common sense, you guys lack it entirely. You lack common sense in its entirety. Oh, you don't want me saying bad things about dead people. Excuse me, but those situations still affect the living. No, there isn't a dead person in all of history that is worth a human life. Not one. Not Joan of Arc, not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., not John F. friggin' Kennedy, not Abraham Lincoln, nobody. In many of these situations, you notice that even though showing the truth about the situation with Natalie was the most important, I always took time for the living. Always. And often at the expense of evidence that was really important. Of course, I thought of those people as human beings, despite the fact that they were addicts. Was I aware of the fact that they're addicts? In most cases, yes, not all of them. I had to forgive Natalie because she was an addict. This is what people wanted to keep on telling me. Oh, well, you just need to forgive her because she's an addict. Well, fine and dandy with all that shit, but yeah, this ain't about fucking forgiveness. It's about stopping the fucking violence so I can see my loved ones. It's about being able to have a support network instead of having to go to fucking junkies and drug dealers like, well, all of these people. Natalie Bollinger, drug dealer. Janine Barrett, drug dealer. Derek Parrish, drug dealer. Jonathan Hickson, drug dealer. Matty Boa, drug dealer. Kayla Trujillo, of course, admitted to being a drug dealer. Same thing with George Helmstetter, drug dealer. How many of these people do I have on my channel admitting to being drug dealers? Well, some of them are on my channel. Some of them are actually in the newspaper. Janine Barrett and her son, Derek Parrish, both in the news for being drug kingpins. That's what they called them. Drug kingpins in Boulder, Colorado. They went through a whole minefield of fucking meth addicts to go mess with the only 7 people who were just messing with weed. And I was pissed about that. Of course, I come to find out later they weren't just messing with weed. I got to learn that from, what was his name, David Sanderson, I think. He's one of the ones that got busted. Same thing with Joanna Taylor Smith, but they kept her name out because she wasn't 18 yet. Of course, Joanna Taylor Smith is one of the people that I went to for help because obviously with this situation being between, primarily at the very beginning, it was between me and Matty Boa. Like that shit just, it was fucked up enough what happened in Virginia. And it's fucked up enough when somebody tells you if you don't go to Virginia, they're going to fucking kill themselves. It's even more messed up when you go there because you don't want them to kill themselves. And then, of course, things don't go how they want it. And they want to play victim. Oh my God, he's stalking me. No, 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 no. The evidence shows the contrary. Au contraire, mon frere. So people just want to avoid it, look away from it, and pretend it didn't happen. If they don't look at the evidence, they get to be right. If they don't look at the evidence, then they get to throw that shit in my face. It's cute. Like Amanda Demet didn't have any time to find out what was going on with that situation with the apartment and the breaking of the windows. Did I admit to breaking the windows? Yes, I did. Did I break the windows? Yes, I did. Makes sense to fess up to it, don't it? Now, why did I have to do that? Well, let's look at the situation that I had at the time. I mean, 2018, I'm already dealing with a whole bunch of shit from a bunch of assholes that are in law enforcement in Dual County, Nebraska. Everybody knows it's corrupt. I'm dealing with people threatening to kill me and threatening to kill my family. Now, let's fast forward. Megan Missigatis didn't come along until 2020. That's several years after Natalie was killed, isn't it? It's several years after I first started trying to turn in the Dual County Sheriff's Department. Now, I'm supposed to be having a lady named Jen Beebe who's supposed to help me with this stuff. She's supposed to be my advocate. But Jen Beebe's not returning calls, so I'm, of course, stuck with Meg Missigatis, who's telling me about every goddamn thing that it's not her job. Now, this whole time, like 6 months, I'm fucking dealing with shitheads in Chapel, Nebraska, doing all sorts of ungodly fucking evil shit. And I can't even turn it in because it's nobody's fucking job. It's nobody's job. It's nobody's job. I can't turn it in myself. That shit ain't gonna fly. When you gotta turn in fucking a bad sheriff and you have to turn him in to himself, yeah, that is definitely a conflict of interest. Now, somebody made a pretty decent house here. I just want to point this out. This is actually a house. It might not look like it without anything on the exterior, but somebody actually fashioned this as a tent so they could live in it. Just figured I'd show that to you. A lot of these folks wanted to say they couldn't come forward for whatever reason. But I voiced those reasons. And then those people, well, they want to pretend like I'm a horrible monster for saying so. Well, if you're going to tell me that's your reason, I'm going to explain that that's your reason. If you're lying to me, that's on you. Now, I got a built-in lie detector. I'm pretty good about being able to tell when people are bullshitting me, but I'm also in a desperate situation, so I gotta hope for the best. Stupid. Now, when I'm told to go to somebody, this is who I'm told to go to. This is who I need to turn the crimes into. That's who I'm going to turn it into. With Jen Beebe ignoring me, and of course, Nicole Peralta also ignoring me. And also, of course, there's situations like with Amanda Demet, and she had too much going on in her life. And then there's Meg Missigatis, and too much going on in her life. There was no civilian oversight. None. All these people want to pretend they didn't do anything wrong. Well, they absolutely did. They knew that I couldn't take care of myself. They knew I couldn't defend myself or protect myself. They knew that I was sent to them. They are specifically the people I was sent to. If it's not their job, it's not my place to go back and forth between the cops and your dumbass repeatedly, especially when those cops are my fucking predators. You fucking morons. But it's fine, isn't it? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. How do you think Amanda Demet would feel if she was separated from her family and forced into a situation like this? Do you think she would enjoy being homeless? Oh, sure, in her fantasy, in her head, this is a vacation. In reality, it wouldn't take her 2 nights to realize, yeah, she's not that well off. And she will probably lose about 200 pounds out here. You have to walk. You can't afford to not walk. You have to walk everywhere. Or you need some good arms so you can push your wheelchair. Being separated from your family, you get to see how, of course, I'm supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to get over it, right? How long is it going to take Amanda to get over her dead mother before she's actually capable of doing the right thing? Obviously, what the cops wrote down is definitely not true. But they got away with it because people like Amanda Demet just simply didn't give a shit. She didn't care. She wanted to waste my time and pretend like she did. But if you're not going to speak up, you're not going to help me turn this into the cops, and you're going to make every excuse, well, I'm going to be very public about it. If your excuse why you can't tell the truth is that your fucking brother is a goddamn chimo, I didn't make your brother a chimo, and your brother being a chimo doesn't shut your mouth. You do that. You made the conscious decision to allow an innocent man to be harmed repeatedly. Now, her most recent one, of course, was her dead, or not her dead brother, her child molester brother and her dead mother. And, of course, what was the problem before that? Or the one before that? Or the one before that? Whereas these people claim they'll make time for me, and I call them up, and I end up listening to all their problems. Well, they're not problems, they're excuses. If they weren't excuses, these people would have made some effort in all this time to actually take it to court and show the truth. It's not what they did, though, is it? They wanted to look the other way, and, of course, do the I'm sorry thing. Well, I don't accept your fucking apology, bitch. Are you out of your fucking mind? You're a fucking insane dude. No. I'm after equality, motherfucker. That means if you're gonna be a fucking piece of shit to me when my loved ones die, god damn it, you deserve it back. If you're gonna tell me that you can't come forward and tell the truth because your mama fucking died, well, how long do I have to give you? How much time do I have to give you after your grandma dies to tell the truth? How many people are you gonna let be killed because you wanna feel fucking sorry for yourself? And that's exactly what you're fucking doing. You're feeling sorry for yourself. Well, good for you. You're allowed to have emotions, aren't you? No, you're not. Not anymore. None of you are. If I'm not allowed to have them, neither are you. You need to stuff it. Don't bullshit me, you'll get caught. I'll post it up on Facebook, I'll post it up on YouTube. God and everybody's gonna know. And then, of course, years later, when you want to say, oh, well, I don't know nothing, I wasn't involved, bitch. You sure as fuck were. But then again, if you're just going to interrupt me every time I speak, you're not going to hear a goddamn thing I have to say, are you? Or if you talk over me while I'm speaking, no, I am the victim. You need to shut the fuck up. I am the victim. You aren't going to hear anything about what the victim is going through when you're busy feeling sorry for your fucking self. I didn't spread your legs, Amanda. Who got you pregnant? Was that me? No, that was you, Amanda. I get told that I have to jump in and take a part in women's issues now after being told, well, I need to keep my nose out of women's issues. Meanwhile, most of my predators are women, and most of my predators who are males are my predators because of slander by women. So fuck off. Fuck off. I'm smarter than you and you know it. And that just sucks, doesn't it? There's a lot of folks who think, oh, well, you know, if I insult his intelligence, and you know what? That works great for people who are highly intelligent. But also, it doesn't work on me. Oh, sure, I'll put on the face and I'll do the arguing against them idiots. They want to revert to name calling as their excuses for doing horrible shit. Well, fuck, I'll name call back. I don't mind. It's called fair and equal, bitch. What the fuck? But unlike me, Amanda has a shit ton of fucking help from her family. A shit ton. She always has. And of course, most of the time when she calls me, she complains about it. But at least she's getting it. Of course, it's not my job or my place to protect your children. When it comes to the children, whether they be related to me or not, I don't care if you're my best fucking friend of 20 goddamn years. I'm not gonna fucking hide it. Not for you, not for fucking anybody. If you're gonna tell me one thing and then you're gonna change your story and do it repeatedly, well, that's pretty fucked up. No matter what, any excuse, the lamest excuses on the fucking planet, you will pull out of your ass. Any fucking advantage you can use, including the fact that you got a vagina. Well, that don't fucking fly, homie. Your vagina doesn't faze me. I believe in equality. That means if you're beating on a man, he should have the right to knock your ass out. You're goddamn right. If you're beating on a child, you're goddamn right. Don't be fucking beating on kids. Now, here's something I definitely don't get. You've got that dude that you went out with and got married and even got remarried to. Not necessarily in the case of Amanda Demet. And that dude, you tell everybody about how he beats you and he doesn't do nothing but drink and beat you. He has expectations of the sexual sort. And then, of course, you kick every man who rescues you in the teeth for helping you. And you go right back to that dude who actually does fucking abuse you. And then you blame men. No. This country is run by women. Vindictive and twisted women who don't care about anyone but themselves And they don't care what lies or slander they have to tell. They already know they have vaginas, so they're more important than anything with a penis. They are more likely to be heard simply because they have different parts. Now, when we take a look at the statistics of men on men violence, most of it starts off with somebody like Haley Smith, who is obviously a female. Starts off with a woman who feels that she was disrespected. Well, fuck you and fuck your respect. I don't owe it to you. If I want to leave a fucking party, I'm going to leave. If you jump on my fucking hood and I have to worry that if I pull out, then I'm going to get charged with fucking manslaughter or attempted manslaughter of a female, yeah, you probably shouldn't drive that car. But you look at the case of Haley and Dino. She wouldn't let him leave. What did that result in? Her boyfriend and another boy getting stabbed to death. Was it Dino's fault that he stabbed those people? Well, it was his choice to stab them, but given the situation, I don't see how he had much else. He was obviously, well, alone. Even Pierre said it was Haley. The whole situation happened because of Haley. And where's Dino? In prison. Now, let's look at this scenario here. Dino is a Hispanic feller, okay? He's a Hispanic feller at a party in Longmont, Colorado, at Pierre's house while Pierre's parents were gone. He's brown-skinned. He knows if the cops show up, he's the one that's in trouble. He knows that Haley Smith is a female. He can't touch her, or he's the bad guy. And of course, you guys have all seen this situation at parties, where there's a woman who is drunk and stupid and wants to create a bunch of issues out of fucking nothing. And you know what? It even often results in her throwing shit and hitting him. And he ain't allowed to do nothing. All he can do is leave. But, of course, are the other men there going to allow him to leave? Because although this situation is entirely wrong and Haley should have been fucking dragged out and put in the fucking drunk tank at the local sheriff's department, that's not what happened. Instead, we've got a whole bunch of youngins who are surrounding a brown guy, a bunch of white kids, by the way, surrounding a brown guy who just wants to fucking leave. This white girl who has been threatening and screaming and hooting and hollering and shouting is jumping on the front of his vehicle so he can't fucking pull out. And of course, according to Pierre, Dino had two men. You guys might argue they were boys, but you know what? They're about the same size as Dino. And about the same age. There was only a few years difference. 2 or 3. That's not a lot. That's not like you've got a 5-year-old trying to fight with a 40-year-old. So, of course, when you've got people that are trying to drag you out of your vehicle and you're a brown-skinned person in Boulder County, Colorado, yeah, being a brown-skinned person isn't going to do you any favors there. Yeah, they want to be liberal, but, well, liberal towards Americans. If they're Mexican Americans, sure, that's cool. Sort of, because they're not going to bother to find out if the person was born in Mexico or born in San Antonio or born in fucking Loveland. They don't care. They see brown skin. You see somebody with black skin, it's a different story. People will fucking hang you if you mess with black people. Now, when we got Dino in this situation, and of course he did absolutely have a knife. Now, I've heard 2 different stories about that. One of them is that he had to grab the knife out of the dash while he was being dragged out of the vehicle. The other one was that he took it from Brian Farmer. Was I there? You'll have to ask Pierre about the validity of these situations. It was Pierre's parents' house where this party happened, where Brian Farmer and Jared Wallace lost their lives because, well, Just like Haley Smith, they thought they were going to go to a party and have some fun. They got drunk, started drama, and people got killed. Congratulations, dumbass. At this point, I do believe that minorities should have the right to absolutely shoot police. Matter of fact, constitutionally, we have the right. We, all of us. However, you're not going to allow the homeless those firearms. You're not going to allow the disabled those firearms. So we're dependent upon people who do have firearms to fight for our rights because it's the only thing you understand. The only thing you understand is fucking violence. God damn. Do you ever get sick of that? Now, of course, with Amanda Demet, she's one of them dummies who thought, well, if I just ignore it, it'll go away. Well, that doesn't work. That's never worked. Yeah, ignoring abuse does not stop abuse. If you ignore your daddy while he's raping you, he's still raping you. If you ignore your daddy when he's punching you in the face, he's still punching you in the face. You'd think that this would be, I don't know, a no fucking brainer, but then again, how can it be a no brainer? These people all claim to have brains and it doesn't click. And then, of course, all these folks, it all comes back to situations that they weren't there for, didn't want to listen to, but want to throw in my face because, of course, while Amanda Demet couldn't take the time to listen to me, she was willing to call up Meg and take the time to listen to Meg. Well, Meg fucked up. Amanda already said that she wasn't gonna years ago. And of course, Megan Misigatis is a witness to many of these situations as well as my intent. But of course, with all of these people, they have to use situations that they weren't there for. However, these situations that they weren't there for were created because they didn't care. Because they thought that ignoring the situation would make everything fine and dandy. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Anyway, you know the story, you know the tune. It's good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.